I'm Teisha Bader. Thank you for joining me. We have been honored here at JBS to host a number of officials from the State of Israel and have them join us here in our Times Square studio in New York City to discuss the important issues facing the country, the Israeli people, and the Jewish people as a whole. And we're so honored to welcome to this studio today for the first time Israel's new Consul General in New York, Ofir Akunis. Ofir, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Shalom lach ושלום למאזין, לצופים.
Very nice. Baruch haba.
Thank you so much.
So I say new Consul General. You actually just marked your first year anniversary at the beginning of May.
This
week.
So we can actually talk about the first week and the next two.
Okay. Not an easy time to step into this role. This was May of 2024. Not that long after October the 7th.
You're right.
Sadly, we are still in that world.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to ask you how this first year has been and what that experience was like taking on this world stage position, if you will, in such circumstances.
During my last cabinet meeting, when actually my colleagues need to vote if they want me here or they don't want me here, so all of them were very happy to vote for me, that I will leave cabinet and come here. I said that I'll do my mission as proud Jew, proud Zionist, and proud Israeli. And that's the right order, by the way. First of all, I'm a Jew, then a Zionist and Israeli. And you're right. That was, I think, the most challenging times to the Jewish community in the United States for the last 100 or more. Years that actually the most important immigrants, not important, I mean the big numbers of new immigrants came from, most of them from Europe, but before as well from other places. But for sure, 2024, I think that we can say that it was the most difficult time to the Jewish communities all around, and especially, unfortunately, here in New York. And I can say that just last night I saw a new horrific pictures from Colombia, from the campus there. And last year we saw it every day. Now this year is much better, but I don't want to imagine that they will repeat in Colombia. Actually, it was with a lot of violence. And of course, the anti-Semitic attacks all over, in Brooklyn, other places as well, all around. That was the beginning. That was actually the very first week.
Baptism by fire, as they say.
That's right, exactly, that's right. I must admit that now it's much better. I must admit. But even though we're still facing, an anti-Semitic attacks or what we saw yesterday in Columbia campus.
It's difficult, it's challenging, as you said, the anti-Semitism here in the United States and what's happening in Israel. And I feel like, when we as American Jews speak to our brothers and sisters in Israel, and when they speak to us, we are concerned for the other. The Israelis are saying, how are you guys dealing with what's happening there?
I want to correct you. It's not for the other. We are one nation.
Each other is what I meant, not the other.
That's right.
Thank you for the correction.
We are one nation.
We're concerned for each other. And,
that's right.
And even soon after October the 7th, I remember having conversations and saying to people, "Are you okay?" And they're saying, "Are you okay?"
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And
that's right. So, but I want to be, I want to be specific about the current situation in Israel as well.
Yes.
And I just said that here it's much better, but in Israel it's also much better because there's no Nasrallah, there's no Sinwar. The Hamas, even though they are still there, and we'll talk about it in a minute, they are much weaker. We hit the Yemens 2 days ago because they actually crossed all the red lines when they, actually launched a missile toward Ben Gurion Airport and almost hit the runway. And there is a new situation in Syria, even though we must be very careful with them. There's no, I said that we lost the butcher from Damascus, we must ensure that the new butcher will not, be there instead of the old one. So, but it's a different year, and it's much better. But as you said, there's a lot of challenges in front of us.
Yep.
And the Gaza Strip is now, of course, and when I'm talking about the Gaza Strip, I'm talking about two issues: the hostages, and actually the main goal to defeat Hamas, and to see the Gaza Strip without the Hamas forces. So it's two goals actually under one decision.
Right, and I want to note that we're taping this on Thursday, May the 8th, so we're referencing things that have just happened, just
That's
so
right.
people are clear.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the hostages for
Please,
a moment.
please.
I feel every day in my newscast, I try and say it's now day 580 is today.
Exactly. You're right.
Not to let it for a moment slip from the forefront of our minds. And I know you've met with many hostage families, and I cannot
Exactly.
imagine what it's like to sit down and speak with them, but if you can just give us a sense of what they're saying to you and what you find the words to say to them.
I will tell you three difficult, times. The hostages families, the mourn families, actually the people who lost,
Bereaved, yes.
the bereaved families, and of course during funerals of IDF families. So it's through different, events, but each and every one of them is very difficult to all human being who can feel his heart. About the hostages, this is our goal, to release all of them and to bring all of them back to their families, to their homeland, to our homeland, and back to Israel. It's impossible that, as you said, from October 7th, they are still in captivity. Under most of them are, or now all of them, by the way. In the beginning, it was between houses in the Gaza Strip and tunnels. Now we suppose that all of them are in tunnels. In tunnels, and it's a goal, and we'll do it because we must do it.
Yep.
Because we are the Jewish people. We will not, left others beyond. And it's difficult because, unfortunately, and I must be honest with you, there's not enough pressure on the Hamas. President Trump changed the idea that actually the previous administration put the pressure on Israel. That was a huge mistake, to put the pressure on Israel and to leave Hamas aside. Okay, we must put Hamas under pressure, and I will tell you something else. Qatar as well, because the Qatarians actually, with their money, built the tunnels, and now they are so kind to host the negotiations and the talks about release the hostages from the tunnels that they built. So, and they are very involved, and they are very close to Hamas. I want you to know that they are very close to them. Actually, they are their main advisors, more than the Egyptians. More than the Egyptians are the Qatarians. Okay, so we will do it, because almost 200, it's actually 196, 147 out of them we brought them alive. Mm-hmm. But we will not rest until all of them will be. This is our duty, this is our responsibility, and we will do it. Now there's another responsibility and duty, to defeat Hamas. Because I must be honest with you, Israel in the last, almost 40 years, gave Hamas a huge chance. First of all, it was the PLO, then the Hamas took the Gaza Strip from the PLO, from the Palestinian Authority, in the summer of 2007, and actually killed a lot of Palestinian officers and policemen. And time after time after time, Protective Edge operation, Ofir Akunis operation, Shomer HaChomot operation, all the time, and Hamas, all this time, Hamas, they were there in the Gaza Strip, build their force, and they built, because they smuggled a lot of weapons from, the place, Philadelphia Corridor. So now we are there in Philadelphia Corridor. We are before a new operation in the Gaza Strip, and we must combine and we must be careful because there are still 59 hostages. So this is a very complicated issue. It's not just, to say something in the media. This is very easy. And I'm watching the Israeli media and the American media as well. And I can see people who, sit around the table and say a lot of things. No, it's not so easy. It's very complicated. You must be very, responsible, and we are doing it.
Yeah, it's so delicate, so complex, the situation, absolutely. And just getting back to the hostage families for a moment, you've met with a number of them in New York, and just what has that experience been like for you?
First of all, I met the Alexander family.
Mm-hmm. Idan is still being held.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's an American Israeli.
He's a beautiful boy, brave one. He left his family behind and actually started his army service.
To be a lone soldier, like Omer Nutra.
Like Omer Nutra as well, you're
Right.
right. Both of them. Unfortunately, we lost Omer, also a beautiful boy and smart and brave. And now we are looking forward to Idan. And I met their families, of course, and it was heartbreaking.
Yep.
But they are strong.
That's
Two
the
strong
incredible
family.
thing.
That's right.
Honestly,
That's right.
I watch
Exactly.
the hostage families, those who are sadly bereaved, and those who have their children back and continue to fight for all the
That's
hostages,
right.
and those whose children are still, or relatives and loved ones are still being held. Their resilience is incredible.
I agree. I asked Agam Berger to come to our event and speak for the very first time on our Independence Day event, 77 years that right after Ben Gurion declared our independence, and we must celebrate it.
That's right.
It's very important because if we will not do it, the enemy will be very happy to say that it's because of him. Okay, so to say, you saw the Israelis? Okay, they canceled their Independence Day events because of us. We did it. No, we will not let it happen. So about Agam Berger, she is actually, I have to tell you, an example to the resilience of our people. And she wrote, I kept the faith and the faith kept me. It's wonderful.
It's beautiful.
Exactly.
And she played violin in Israel at the official Yom HaAtzmaut ceremony.
And during the March of the Living in Auschwitz as well. So it's very two strong, moments. Very strong. From Poland to Israel, it's like a symbol of revival.
It's so
and
moving.
It is.
And
that's right.
And as you said, we can hold these two things, Yom HaZikaron and Yom HaAtzmaut,
always
are deliberately, one goes into the next, because that is the reality, not of just the state of Israel, but the Jewish people, that we have gone through such hardship and tragedy, and yet we find a way to find the light. And
you're right. Last week, as usual, we, the Israeli consulate, actually, we arranged a ceremony at Temple Emmanuel.
Yes, we aired it here on JBS.
That's right. Yeah, I know. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I said there, like Prophet Yechezkel, he said, "Bedamaich chai, in your blood, live. Bedamaich chai, in your blood, live." This is a very strong sentence to actually summarize our journey.
And you spoke at that ceremony also about the need for unity. And how
I want to tell you something about unity. The most important thing now is our unity. And I talked 2 minutes ago about our enemies. They are watching us all the time. And they're saying to themselves, we can divide them. we can split them, because there's various of opinions among the Jewish people, and that's fine. That's from the days of that we left Egypt during the Exodus.
And the Talmud is full
that's
of
right,
arguments.
The Talmud, everything, and it's fine. We can argue. And I'm for arguments. I'm for it because I'm a Democrat. I want.
And you're Israeli. Arguing is part of your DNA,
exactly.
right?
You're right. But you're right. But we need to behave ourselves. That's the most important thing. And of course, to understand that we are one nation. That's it. We are one nation. We are sharing the same journey, and it's a long one. And from the past and to the future as well. So we must keep our unity, that's right. And I said it there, yeah. You're right.
I want to ask you just about you personally also, because you mentioned before the cabinet meeting, you were served as 2 different ministers in the Knesset. You were Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology, as well as of Regional Cooperation. How did you get into politics? Was this a choice, or did you kind of fall into it?
It's very good. It's a very good question, because as a teenager, I used to write and participate in a radio magazine and a newspaper, a youth magazine, and I just interested in pop music, entertainment shows and all the American music, British music, and I was thinking then that right after my army service, I will continue, to be a musical editor or a reporter, maybe a news anchor, something in the media.
Yeah.
But during my army service, when they asked me to actually to talk and to explain to the soldiers the Oslo agreements, that was when I was 19 years old. So I started to focus on the news. And the things that our people are dealing with a very huge internal debate among our people then in Israel. And I just started to move from the entertainment to news, and that's what I decided to do then, right after I finished my army service and started to my very first job. It was in the media, and then I moved to politics as a Likud spokesman. It was 1996 when Shimon Peres served as our prime minister. And then Netanyahu actually replaced him after the very famous elections of 1996. And I started as media advisor assistant in his office, and the rest is history.
The rest is history. And speaking of history, you were Minister of Regional Cooperation when the Abraham Accords were signed. Can you talk about that a little bit? Some positive news in this world that we live in.
Exactly. I was very happy that President Trump, Prime Minister Netanyahu, and the leaders of Bahrain and the Emirates signed the treaties, and later on with the Moroccans as well, the Abraham Accords. Because the Abraham Accords, actually this is the proof that first of all, we are praying for peace every day, from the first prayer in the morning till the last prayer in the evening. And we won't pray. And the Jewish people prefer, peace rather than wars. And the proof is that we signed the peace treaty with Egypt, here in Washington, by all of them in Washington, by the way. And then Begin and Sadat. Then the peace treaty with Jordan, Rabin and King Hussein. And then the treaties with the Emirates and with Bahrain and with Morocco as well. And I hope that, and I said, I think it was 2 weeks ago, during a meeting with the AJC leaders, that Lebanon can be next. Lebanon can be next. I will talk in a minute about Saudi Arabia. But why Lebanon? Because there is no territorial conflict between Israel and Lebanon from 1948. There is no. It's just the PLO took power, then Hezbollah, and we must, we must actually defend ourselves. But if the Lebanese, the original Lebanese we talked about resilience and revival, they will do to themselves what we did and take over their beautiful place again, we can actually use the railroad between Beirut, Haifa, and then Tel Aviv, and then even until Cairo.
That would be amazing.
That will be amazing.
How is that going to happen?
If the Hezbollah will not be there, if the Iranians will not ruin a state after state after state in the world, because what is the main goal of the Ayatollahs from Tehran, the head of the snake? To ruin Lebanon, and that Hezbollah will fire rockets toward Tel Aviv. That the Houthis will do it from Yemen towards Ben Gurion airport. Then the Hamas will do it from the Gaza Strip toward, let's say, even Jerusalem. Okay, without them, it will be much, much, much better world. So, first of all, without Hezbollah, they're still there, but they are much weaker. Without their, number one and number two. I don't know if anybody wants to be number one, as a Hezbollah leader, after we actually, let's say, that Nasrallah and his deputy are not there anymore, and about Hamas as well. But if they will be, like the original Lebanon, I cannot find even one reason that they will not be part of the Abraham Accords. And the meaning of Abraham Accords, it's trade, it's culture, it's stock exchange, it's a lot of money, it's tourism. Lebanon is a beautiful city. How do I know it? My wife's grandmother, she actually departed Syria, then came to the land of Israel through Lebanon.
Wow.
And she told us, she passed away unfortunately, she told us about, the modern clubs, the boardwalk of Beirut. Why not? And by the way, I want to tell you something else. In the Gaza Strip as well. Gaza Strip, there is a beautiful marine and the boardwalk in Ashkelon. It's something like 10 kilometers, 12 kilometers from Gaza City, not from the, the checkpoint, the Erez checkpoint. That is it's much closer to Ashkelon. They are ruining themselves with their own hands. All these, I don't know, radical leaders from Hamas, Hezbollah, and Judea and Samaria as well. It's the same situation. And as a Minister of Regional Cooperation, I visited in Morocco. And I saw, and actually I met students who wants to cooperate with Israeli students. We talked about trade. It's not a dream. We can do it. So I'm very proud to be a part of the Abraham Accords, and I will be very happy to see more countries that will actually join the treaties.
Speaking of things that we're looking for hope, I feel like today so many here in the U.S., in the Jewish world, in Israel, we're just trying to visualize how we can get out of the situation that we're in now. How will it be resolved? What will it look like? It's so difficult. Every day there's something.
I agree.
And it almost seems sometimes like it's worse as we go forward.
Yeah. If the extremists will not be there, it will be wonderful. Because first of all, Israel is the land of milk and honey. Our neighbors can, join the club. And I'm not talking about milk and honey. I'm talking about high-tech, innovation, robotics, satellites, the modern world. They want the old world. We want, the Western world. Israel is part of the Western world, and the extremists are part of the radical world. This is the clash of civilizations. So we must defeat them. There's no other choice. By the way, we didn't start a fire on October 7th. And I want that not only the Jewish audience will know it, because they already knows it. I want that the young American people like here in Colombia will know it. They're screaming, chanting, yelling lies. We didn't start a fire. It's just an ordinary peaceful Shabbat. It was Simchat Torah.
That's right.
Yes. And then they invaded with thousands of terrorists, Nukhbas terrorists, and unfortunately, a lot of Gazans as well, civilians. And of course, the poor UNRWA teams. That's unbelievable, by the way. That UNRWA was part of the massacre.
And you talk about the students at Columbia. I was just talking about this as well. Chanting for the Intifada, I want to say to them, what kind of world are you hoping for? What do you mean saying Intifada revolution? Do you know what your words mean? And I'm sure that 99% of them do not.
Of course.
They're joining this movement. Yes, fashion. It's trending.
That's right.
what would you say to them if you were able to engage, which is very difficult, to have a conversation with someone who's
I will say to them and to the others. To them, I will say, do you want to be part of a movement of people who killed by their own hands 5 years old kid in front of his mother's eyes? Do you want to be part of a movement who actually burned people alive, raped women? I want to tell you something about the LGTB organizations and the women organizations. They must stand with Israel because these people that they are chanting for them, they are against them. There's no women's rights in Tehran or unfortunately in Lebanon, and of course in the Gaza Strip. There's no LGTB rights in the Gaza Strip. There is no gay parade in the Gaza Strip, but there is in Tel Aviv. And in Jerusalem, and in Haifa, and Eilat. I think that every city in Israel is already actually responsible for, even the biggest is in Tel Aviv.
Yeah.
But in Jerusalem, it's not small at all. It's a very, and everybody can, be part of it. So first of all, I want to tell them, if you want to be with the bad guys, you will continue to chant Intifada, Intifada. The meaning of the word is actually something like destruction, full destruction. Or you want to be with us, the side of the Western world. And us, I'm talking about the United States, the United Kingdom, Europe, Israel and other states, not about the Ayatollahs, not about Hamas, and not Hezbollah, and not the Houthis. Now choose.
We have just a moment left,
Thank you.
Ofir, and it's been so wonderful to have you. What words of hopeful, optimistic words of peace, of shalom, of getting our hostages home, what can you leave us with?
I'm very optimistic about the future of the State of Israel. First of all, you must recognize the fact that our economy is very strong and very stable. Even though we are actually after 2 wars from 2006 till this current war, and after a few military operations, so we are very strong. Our high-tech innovation and our economy is very strong. The shekel is very strong. This is about the economy. About the hostages, we will not rest until the last of them will be with us. We will not do it. We can't do it. It's like the Jewish solidarity. Mm-hmm. And the third thing is that in a world without Hamas in the Gaza Strip, without Hezbollah in Lebanon, and without the terror cells in Judea and Samaria, all of those people surrounded us can be part of the Abraham Accords and the bright future of the Middle East.
Amen. Ofir, bring them home. We hope very soon. Am Yisrael Chai.
Always.
We say it every single day, and it's truly an honor to have you, and thank you for the work that you are doing every day.
My pleasure.
And know that we're with you 100%.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.